Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Raising Howl, part of the Believe Network, an offshoot of Funbelt Podcast, which I host with Dusty Thibodeau and Shane Metlin, and we've been a little bit out of pocket. We've got real jobs. We got things to do. Kind of been doing our own things lately, and that's fine. The Sunbelt Media Days, that's coming up in July. End of July. That's when things usually pick up for us. But you know what? There are big things happening at Arkansas State. Right now, even as we speak, Arkansas State tennis, 4th seed in the Sun Belt tournament. They're going to get playing pretty soon in the tournament. That's pretty cool because if you follow tennis at all, it hasn't been a program that's had a whole lot of success. I don't know if they're going to win the Sun Belt tournament. There's some pretty good teams in there, but the women of the A-State tennis team, very good this year. Great athletes. I wish I had gone down and checked them out. Watched a few matches. They've got a great facility. It's right next to the soccer facility. Maybe check that out next year. Before we start talking about Arkansas State, I want to talk a little bit about something goofy that happened to me. Yeah, I'll admit it. I'm getting older. I've hit the 50s plateau. And when you get there, for men, certain things happen. Your gut gets bigger, your butt disappears. The memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. So last October of 2025, the lawnmower just gave up. My lawnmower, the push mower that I own. Old Craftsman. Nothing fancy about this lawnmower. I just wouldn't start. And I did my best. I have a limited mechanical ability. I changed the spark plug. I changed the filter. I changed out the gas. Somebody said, well, maybe it's old gas. Maybe there's water in the gas. Couldn't get it to start. Yanked and yanked. I'm that guy in this front yard trying to get his push mower to start, cursing. So I said, okay, well, I found a small engine repair place in West Little Rock. And packed up the lawnmower into my Subaru all-wheel drive and dropped it off. I said, hey, I just need this lawnmower to work. Yeah, okay. Well, it's October, so it's the end of the mowing season. I ended up borrowing my neighbor's lawnmower for a mow. It got cold, grass stopped growing. I kind of forgot about my lawnmower. November, December, January, February. I just forget. I'm not even thinking about my mower. It's cold. Grass isn't growing. I'm not doing yard work. Well, about March. Yeah, I think, okay, well, pretty soon I'm going to have to mow. And I realized, oh, shit, I don't have my lawnmower. It's still at the repair shop. Another month goes by because it's kind of a cold March. And we get into April, and the grass is ready to get mowed. So I don't even call these guys. I just drive right over in the Subaru. And I'll say, hey, I came around here around October. Do you still have my lawnmower? And they said, well, we give it about 50-50 chance. Because, plenty of people want to just leave their lawnmowers at small engine repair shops, never come back. They decide to buy a new mower. I'd consider that. They just get around him. So, he digs into the computer, goes, oh, it says here we still have it. It's in the back. So they bring in this ancient old man and say, hey, can you help this gentleman find his lawnmower? Yeah, sure. We go out back. And it's just a mass graveyard of push lawnmowers. There must have been 700 lawnmowers out there. And they all look like mine. Just crappy Craftsman lawnmowers. It's like, when Indiana Jones, like the Ark of the Covenant, and they buried it in that big government warehouse. That's kind of what I was doing. I was looking for my lawnmower in the big government warehouse. Miraculously, we found it, though. It was there. Pulled it out. Guy started it up. It started. They fixed it. Put in the Subaru, and I got back. But I'd forgotten about the lawnmower. You know what else I forget? I forget who coached Arkansas State in 2015. I always forget his name. Right now, I'm struggling to remember his name right now. It's wild. Coached there for a year. Ended up at Boise State. Ended up at Auburn. I always forget his name. Brian Harsin. You know how I remember that? I always think of blocked by Harsin. Remember when we blocked us all on Twitter? I'm still blocked. Still blocked by Harsin. That's okay. I'm not even sure what Harsin is doing these days. I hope that he's developed a thicker skin. Anyway, it's a big weekend. I'm coming up this weekend to Jonesboro. I'm looking forward to it. Why? It's just a big sporting weekend. It's the Sunbelt Media Days. No, I'm sorry. That's in July. That's in New Orleans. No, it is the spring game. We all like the spring game. I like the spring game. I was talking with some guys on Believe in the Warhawks. One of the guys on there is a former football player. I said, hey, you like the spring game? No, hate the spring game. I was like, oh, man. Why do you hate the spring game? You just, it's because it's sort of a waste of time. Some guys actually get hurt. It's not a waste of time for me. I like to get down on the field. I like with my camera. I'll shoot some pictures. Maybe chat with the coach. Not all the time. I usually try to avoid talking to coaches. There's a good reason why I do. Like Jeff Reed, his job is to interact with the coaches, get to know what they are. I don't want to be friends with the coaches. I don't want to know them personally. You say, why not? They're nice guys. They are. I've spoken to Butch Jones many times. I don't want to be friends, though. Because eventually I have to write some, harsh things about these guys. I don't want to do that to a friend. I kind of view Butch Jones, because I'm an A-State fan, right? I view Butch Jones as my employee in a way. He works for me. His job is to get wins. So, I don't always chum around with the coaching staff. I try to be on the outside a little bit. And, I don't get the inside scoops. If you're looking for a scoop from this podcast, you're not going to get a scoop. Sorry. You just get my penetrating observations. So I'm going this weekend. I'll be there for the Saturday spring game, and then I'm going to the baseball game against the Cajuns. That's going to be a great series, by the way. Let's talk a little bit about that before we talk a little bit about football. Arkansas State Red Wolves, 3 games against the Cajuns. Cajuns have had their struggles this year, right? Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. I think ULM beat them 2 out of 3. They're 23-17. Not far off our record. We're 25-16. But they're at the bottom of the Sun Belt standings. I mean, I don't think the last 4 guys, the last 4 teams don't get into the tournament. Right now, they're not getting into the tournament. The mighty Cajuns. The Cajuns, who for many, many, many years have been the vanguard of Sun Belt baseball. Now it's Coastal. Now it's a Southern Miss. But for the longest time, it was the Cajuns. The Cajuns will be good again. And they're not bad now. They're not bad. But we need to beat these Cajuns. We need to beat the Cajuns. 2 out of 3. 3 out of 3 would be great. We haven't really done much of that, have we? And you know how we're going to do it? We're going to do it with some pitching. Arkansas State has some of the best pitching, not just in the Sun Belt, but in all of college baseball. When was the last time we were ever saying something like that? Never. In fact, I look back and I could not find an instance where Arkansas State led the Sun Belt in ERA. Sometimes in the top 3, but never led the Sun Belt. Arkansas State has a chance. They could do that. Right now, it's kind of a little bit, we keep talking, well, I keep talking. I keep thinking, I can't stop thinking about it, of us getting at least an at-large bid to the college baseball tournament. Right? I want that at-large bid. Southern Miss, Coastal Carolina, they're going to get those at-large bids, right? A lot of it has to do with RPI. It shouldn't, but it does. Right now, Arkansas State sits at 38 RPI. Texas State, right behind us after not having a good weekend, they're right there at 39. And then right behind Texas State are the Cajuns at 55. Honestly, we need to be in the 20s, I think, to secure a shot at that at-large bid. We need to be in the 20s. We've got great wins, but we need some padding. 38. Oof. And we're going to do it with pitching. Arkansas State, they gave up 10 runs to UCA. I wasn't sure who's pitching. Not the weekend pitchers. Certainly was weekend batting, though. 20 runs, 14 runs in what was it, the 16th or no, 4th inning? Or was it 16 runs? I can't remember. It's a lot of runs for one inning. And UCA, historically a good baseball program. At that time, 150th in RPI. If you're following that kind of thing. Which I am. So it's kind of a big weekend for Sun Belt baseball. Yeah, I got South Alabama. They're sort of in that mix, right? They're in that hunt, sub 100 RPI. They're taking on Southern Miss. Southern Miss is coming. South Alabama to Mobile. South Alabama, sneaky good program. Texas State trying to kind of rebound. They kind of went from second in the Sun Belt to tied with us at 9-9 after last weekend. They get Coastal Carolina. They go to Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, I think, has 3 losses in the Sun Belt. We gave them one of those losses. As I mentioned before, Arkansas State takes on the Cajuns. This is kind of make it or break it for the Cajuns. The Cajuns kind of need this win bad, right? I mean, they're looking at getting bounced out of the tournament, the Sun Belt tournament. Forget about, the NCAA. They're just trying to get into the SBC. And then kind of a sneaky good matchup, Old Dominion taking on Georgia State. Both of these teams have 20 wins. Georgia State has 21 losses. Old Dominion has 20 losses. Old Dominion has come up. They're hot. We get to get those guys. I think we have to go all the way to Old Dominion for them. Great. All the way to Norfolk for that game. That's going to be a tough game. But anyway, those are 4 great series coming up. You want to take a look at those? I think you should. I will be there. I'll be there at the game on Saturday. I think I'm going to pop by for the Sunday game too. I'm not entirely sure. Definitely will be at the spring game for football. Like I said, I think we touched on this last week. You don't learn too much from the spring game. Now, you get to – one of the things you do get to do is, there's a lot of recruits that come that day. And you can tell who they are. They all got the name badges. They're sitting on the sidelines. They got their parents with them. They have that athlete look about them. Like they could just run fast, run circles around you, and lift you up over their heads. High school kids with a lot of energy. Yeah, I always check those guys out, see what they're doing, see if they look interested, see if they're engaged. You got the band. They show up. It's like a spring game for them, too. It's like a spring practice. They're in their T-shirts and shorts. Out there warming up the tubas. They'll play a little bit for us. I like that. The cheer squad, they're out there. They're getting, their routines done. You see some of the sports writers out there. You'll see Jeff Reed and Kara Ritchie and Matheson. You'll see Channel 8. Man McRae. Hutchinson. Not Hutch. Hutchinson. Chris Hutchinson. Chris has been there forever. And then you'll see the fans. And I like the fans that show up at a spring game. They're there because they're the diehards, right? They want to see who's going to be the quarterback. They want to see how well that offensive line is looking. Did the defensive ends get any bigger? How tall are the cornerbacks? I got about 3 questions. There are 3 things I'm going to be looking for. I won't be able to identify an answer from it. I'm not an expert. I can't just see what's going on a football field and automatically identify the problems, the improvements, what's missing, where we've gained. I don't know, especially a spring game. But we do have a new offensive coordinator in Garrett Altman, quarterback's coach. From Vanderbilt, the suddenly good team of Vanderbilt. Yeah, that's the same Vanderbilt that got beat by Georgia State a couple of years ago. But then the Commodores set things right. Paid them back. You might remember a little something about the Commodores quarterback situation. Diego Pavia, the undersized Heisman candidate quarterback. One of these guys that wears the black turtleneck with the gold chain on the outside. He's going to be pretty good. I think he'll be a pretty good NFL guy for a couple of years. Anyway, so yeah, we've got this new offensive coordinator in Garrett Altman, and we no longer have Keith Heckendorf, who who toiled for Arkansas State for many, many years. Now he's at Iowa State. We don't have Keith. And Keith was somebody that was sort of an easy target for fans because the offense these last few years has not looked good. Last year was especially puzzling. We had the veteran quarterback. We had some veteran presence at running back. We had some really good wide receivers. We had an offensive line that was supposed to be better. And quite frankly, A-State offense looked terrible last year. They just looked terrible. The defense, which started off the year looking terrible, ended up being our most reliable squad. So out goes Heckendorf, who we blamed a lot for the offensive struggle. We said his offenses were vanilla, predictable. Maybe that was Coach Jones. It could be. I don't know. I honestly don't know how much sway Coach Jones has over play-to-play operations. I don't. I know Butch Jones would like to be an offense that controlled the line of scrimmage, controlled the time on the clock, doesn't make mistakes. Yeah, he was talking a little bit about Ethan Crawford the other day, one of these news clips that Hudson put together. He's like, yeah, Crawford's great. He makes plays with his legs, but he's got to learn that sometimes on third down, you got to throw away the ball, let the punt team come out. It's about field position. I kind of laughed. I was like, yeah. Butch Jones, that's kind of his thing. He doesn't want to gamble. He doesn't care how boring the game is. He just wants to win. All right. So was it all Keith Heckendorf last year? A lot of people came up to me and said, no, it's not Keith Heckendorf. It's Butch Jones. I guess we're going to see under Garrett Altman, right? Altman, never been an offensive coordinator before. Okay. But he's known for his quarterback whispering, and he'll have plenty of opportunities to whisper at his quarterbacks because they're new. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But will the offense look different under Garrett Altman? Vandy had a high-scoring offense. The kind of offense that Arkansas State used to have. And what's funny is announcers, like when they get the ESPN Plus guys out there, they still think we have that offense. I'm like, we haven't had that offense in years. Will it be different? Will I be able to look at it and go, wow, that's a change? I don't know. That's a question I will ask, but probably won't receive an answer. The other question I have is, who's going to be the Red Wolves quarterback? There's 4 guys in contention now. Jalen Rayner gone. He's with Heckendorf at Iowa State. I kind of felt like Rayner had reached the highest potential he's going to reach at Arkansas State. And I'll tell you what, Coach Jones doesn't like variables that he can't predict. And when you have a guy like Rayner who can freelance out there, then the game is beyond Coach Jones's control. So there's always a clash of style between Rayner and Jones. And I think Jones evolved a little bit during Rayner's rule behind center. I think he did. I think he just said, okay, I'm going to roll with this. He's going to run a little bit more. He's going to gamble with deep passes. I'm fine. We'll just take that. You know how the last 2 basketball coaches we've had, Pannone and Hodgson, how they both gamble with the 3-pointer? Just keep shooting it. Whether it's working or not, we're just going to keep shooting it. It'll work out in the end. That's not Butch Jones at all. Well, all right, maybe in some ways. I mean, he will stick with the game plan, whether it's working or not. But he's not going to take a chance on a low percentage game plan. Yeah, he'll take his deep shots with personnel that we just didn't have the personnel for that. But I digress. We're talking about the quarterbacks. Rayner is gone. Good luck to him at Iowa State. Now our most seasoned guy on the squad, and seasoned by, I mean, well, maybe just even in terms of reps, is Ethan Crawford. 6-foot guy, 200 pounds. Size-wise, a lot like Diego Pavia. Is that his name? Yeah, Diego Pavia. Kind of a similar kind of guy. A guy who can run, a guy who can throw. Yeah, I've been seeing some film footage of him. He looks like a unit out there. You know, like Jalen Rayner, when he would run, I was waiting for him to get broken in half. Although last year he did put on a little more meat. But this Crawford guy, he looks like a guy who could put on a hit. Transferred last season from Southern Miss. We saw him a little bit when we played Southern Miss, and he actually had 2 touchdowns on us. 2 running touchdowns. He seems to have the inside track, right? He knows the playbook. He's had a few reps. He understands the mind of Jones. But also in the mix is longtime Commodores field hand, Drew Dickey. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. He's a senior. He's seen a lot of stuff. Has he done a lot of stuff? No. 4-star guy out of high school. Never could kind of crack that Commodores lineup, right? I've seen some social media rumblings that Dickey is going to get his shot in Jonesboro. And why not? He's one of Altman's guys. You know what? I suspect that Dickey will be pretty much in the same role as he was with the Commodores. Almost kind of like a on the field or in the locker room kind of coach, right? He knows Altman. He knows the system. He's going to be the guy that says, hey, this is what coach is looking for. I think that's going to be Drew Dickey's role. Now, I say all this without real knowledge. Remember, I'm not the inside guy. I'm just guessing. So that leaves 2 more mystery men, right? One of those mystery men is a guy named Jeremy St. Hilaire, a 6'4" guy, 220 pounds, sophomore. He's also out of Vanderbilt. Jeremy with 2 accent marks, both over the E's. Never seen Jeremy spelt that way. My name is Jeremy. I'm going to start doing that. Hilaire was a 3-star recruit and a 3-star transfer. At college, he had the choice between the Commodores and Wake Forest. Now he's here in Jonesboro. That's cool. The other guy is a 6'5" guy, 219 pounds, Trey Owens. Transferred out Texas. He was a 4-star prospect. He had offers from just about every school in the state of Texas. It's like everybody in Texas said, hey, you need to come play with us. Landed at Texas. Wanted to be a Longhorn. Fortunately, so did Arch Manning. He's coming back for another year, old Arch Manning. Get himself another, $6, $7, $8 million at NIL. Why not? Who would pass up on that? Owens has an elite arm. And I've got this idea that maybe Trey Owens has more of an inside track than any of these other guys. Because I think Trey Owens is the kind of guy that Butch Jones fantasizes leading the huddle. tall, big, can throw? Can he stand in the pocket? Can he identify the open receiver? Can he mitigate mistakes? Crawford, not a guy who will mitigate all the mistakes, at least from what we've seen. At least according to Butch Jones himself, who's like, he needs to know when to hold them and know when to throw them. I think Crawford could be an exciting guy to have full time. I think he can get you some yards with his legs, maybe some touchdowns. Sophomore Trey Owens, I don't know. But he seems like that kind of guy that Butch Jones likes. Think about the guys that he gravitated to earlier in his tenure at A-State. Tall guys, not very mobile, supposedly would anchor themselves in the pocket, make that 15-yard pass. That's what he wants. If Jones is listening to this podcast, he'll probably come up to me and go, no, that's not what I want. How dare you? But that's what I think. I think that's what he wants. But we shall see. Will this question be answered by the spring game? Probably not. But we will get to see who gets reps. We'll get to see how Owens throws the ball, how Ethan Crawford mitigates his mistakes. We'll see. My last question is, can Griff McCarley maintain that upward trajectory? Can he do it? Listen, remember how the defense started last season? Just giving up touchdown after touchdown in the first quarter, immediately putting us in a hole. The game against Kennesaw State was almost like the final straw on that. I think they scored 3 touchdowns in the first, after Arkansas scored 4 in the first. Yeah, that sucked. And then something clicked. Like I said, I am not a great student of the game. I'm not. But even I could tell that a sort of philosophy had changed when conference play began. It was actually, it was probably after ULM, because we lost to ULM too. But there was a mentality that changed after that. It was like, all right, listen, we're playing it too safe. We're going to start creating problems on the edge. And the team started collecting sacks, creating havoc, forcing turnovers. It was like something that Griff understood was that we do not have the personnel to just control the line of scrimmage and allow our defensive backs to cover the wide receivers and our linebackers to make the tackles. We just don't have those guys. We need to be quick and fast and unpredictable. That's what you got to do. And I don't know, Griff seemed to understand that. Now he is on his second year of the job. And remember, McCarley was never a defensive coordinator, just like our new guy Altman was never an offensive coordinator. McCarley comes up and says, I got some new ideas. Let me in, coach. I don't know. And was he overmanaged at the beginning, or was he undermanaged? Somebody made the decision to change the style. I hope it was McCarley. He's lost some guys. Drew Collins, Cody Sigler, Brian Whitehead. Yeah, those guys are gone. But, they pulled in a bunch of guys from the transfer portal, so we'll see. Still got A.G. McGee. Still got Nigel Nelson. The linebacker just came out of nowhere and just became awesome. Freshman, remember him? Love that guy. So, yeah, does McCauley pull another rabbit out of his hat and turn that A-State defense into another formidable squad? So those are the 3 things I'm looking for in the spring game. In addition to a pretzel that's not as hard as a rock. I'm really hard on the pretzels. I'm hard on the soft pretzels at Arkansas State. A soft pretzel should be fresh, should be chewy, should be hot. I don't do dipping sauce. I just want the pretzel and the salt. And several times I've purchased a spring game pretzel. And listen, I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying sometimes it feels like the pretzels have been left over from last season. They've been in the deep freeze and then finally pulled out of the freezer the night before, half-heartedly warmed up and served to the public. Hey, it's the spring game, I know. I'm not looking for a culinary excellence here. I just want a pretzel that won't break my teeth. But yeah, I'll be at the spring game. If you see me, maybe don't approach me. I don't know. I'm not the best. I think we talked about this last time. But I look forward to seeing you all, to tell you the truth. Will we get the 10,000 fans that Gus Malzahn asked that one season? No. Here's what's going to happen. I'll predict it. It will be a very modest turnout for the game. I think we might even have some thunderstorms. I don't know. It's not going to be like this huge turnout. And there'll be a bunch of crabbing on the message boards about the low turnout. Jonesboro sucks. Arkansas State sucks. Guys, it's the spring game. I go because, yes, it's like, I don't know, a taste of fall. Because summer is long. It's a long time. Gotta wait until August for the team to return, get back to practice. It's just a long time. You should just enjoy the spring game. And later on at 6, the spring game is at 1:30. It'll be over what, like at 3? Maybe go get a beer at J-Town's or something and then come back to the baseball field. Game 2 between Arkansas State and the Cajuns. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it. I'll see you there.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.